back here tonight. This one's a matchup between the Eureka Red Devils and the Monmouth Fighting Scots. I'm Matthew Swan.
And I'm Ella Walker.
And despite last night's tough loss, the Red Devils looking to hop back on track here tonight. So Ella, what do you think are going to be the three keys for this Red Devils team to kind of come back and win this one?
So like you said, it was a very rough loss for the Red Devils last night against Fontbonne. I think there were a lot of miscommunications, which we talk about quite often. And I saw a lot of that on the court. A lot of girls who would go after the ball and then they'd just stop mid-run. So I think that definitely needs to be under control more this game. And also going along with that, the motivation from the girls just wasn't there last night. And I think part of that was because this gym was so quiet. Probably the quietest we've seen it all season. So with that motivation and the communication lacking last night, I think that was a big issue. And I think if they can get that together tonight, then that'll fix it.
That's right. You summed it up perfectly. You'd like to see those Red Devils down there talk a little bit more. And of course, you want to see the fans get a little bit more involved. But despite that loss, both freshmen, Chloe O'Donoghue and Lexi Lear-Mattis, continuing to step up for this Red Devils team. O'Donoghue last night on defense with multiple defensive efforts, diving plays to keep the ball up and gain a lot of extra points for this Red Devils team on that scoreboard. Well, Lexi Lear-Mattis continues to dominate at the service line, also being a very crucial part for this Red Devils team. Anyways, it'll be a very challenging matchup tonight, and we look forward to bringing it to you. I'm Matthew Swan.
I'm Ella Walker.
Stay tuned. You're watching Eureka Red Devils Volleyball here on ECTV.
The airwaves just got a refresh, and you need to spin your dial to 103.1 to find out. EC 103.1 is your latest and freshest option at your disposal, with the latest alternative rock hits, new personalities, and live sporting events at Eureka College. With an award-winning pedigree, EC 103.1 will quickly be the only thing you want to hear on your radio. Now on the FM airwaves and streaming globally on iHeartRadio. EC 103.1, your rock alternative.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Women are bad with money. That's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now, we've got something to say.
Save it. It's time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Until we're no longer 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault.
Then, the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
There's nearly 678,290,000 kids under 5 around the world. But what's so important about being 5? A lot, it turns out. Children who live to age 5 are twice as likely to reach adulthood. That's why vaccines matter so much. For 40 years, Rotary and partners have delivered vaccines globally. Like here, and even here. Impressive, right? But 12.5 million children are still totally unvaccinated. Rotary knows we can find them. Because when Rotary and Indian vaccinators looked for families at bus and train stations, used motorbikes, and trekked house to house, they lowered polio cases by 94%. See, it can be done, and the results are worth it. Let's ensure that all children grow up safe from preventable diseases.
Welcome back here, and before we get things started, we're going to send it down to the floor for starting lineups.
Number 2, Tyla Matson. Number 5, Lauren Aldrich. Number 6, Elena Robertson.
Does Aaron need it?
No.
Okay.
Number 7,
Okay.
Haley Sealis. Playing libero, number 12, Savannah Robinson. Number 16, Paige Foltz. And number 17, Chloe Strahan. The Scots are coached by Derek Brockmeyer. Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Eureka Red Devils. Playing libero, a freshman from Emden, Illinois, number 4, Chloe O'Donohue. A senior from Evansville, Indiana, number 5, Brooklyn Shell. A junior from Delavan, Illinois, number 11, Claire Schaffner. A senior from Arcola, Illinois, number 14, Hallie Ghana. A freshman from Lincoln, Illinois, number 16, Alyssa Company. A junior from Benson, Illinois, number 17, Franny Heckman. And a junior from Abingdon, Illinois, number 20, Malia Nagel. The Red Devils are coached by Candace Van Bogart.
So just as we're about to get things underway here at the Reagan Athletic Complex, both teams, as usual, high-fiving at the net.
And we were talking about this before this game started. This Monmouth team is coming in. Very talented group of girls over there. Freshman Kaylee Sellis, she has 184 kills this season alone as a freshman, and she scored 205 of the 830 points for this Monmouth team. So freshman alone, she's just killing the game on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've seen a lot of this year, specifically in the freshmen. I mean, you don't usually see a lot of freshmen who are the ones to step up and kind of take control of the gameplay. Most of the time you see that from the upperclassmen, such as the juniors or seniors, but this year has definitely been a different story up to this point. Very exciting to see.
Yeah, for sure.
So 5 starters each out on the floor for the Red Devils and for the Fighting Scots. Like you said, coming in at 8-6 is Monmouth. It'll be a very, very challenging game here for these Red Devils, especially after coming off of a loss last night. Maybe struggling with some team morale, but they've had a lot of time to talk it over. I know that they did have a practice before this game, so they should be well prepared coming into this one.
And this Monmouth team, they have yet to play a conference game this year. They're 8-6, but not one of those comes from conference. So that's kind of crazy to see this far into the season.
That's right. As Matson for the Scots serves that one over to O'Donohue, hits it up. Schaffner in the mid outside. Heckman finds that open spot on the floor, and the Red Devils grab the first point of the night. Great play there by Heckman to find a spot between several defenders on that Fighting Scots team. As Lexi Lira-Mattis, who we talked about in the pregame, serves that one over. This one to the middle, big hit there, blocked, and it falls. That is Alyssa Company, who has proven to be a big star for this team.
That's another one of those freshman players who you've kind of seen step up this season.
That one's dug out there, Matson outside. That one's kept up. This one's going to go to Nagel. And that one is deflected off of the hands of Sealis and out of bounds. Red Devils gain another point, 3-0 early here in the first set. And we talked about Lyra Mattis' serving, and she continues to live up to that name. Back set there, blocked. But I guess that one was off of the hands of those Red Devils players down there. So that'll be the first point of the night for the Fighting Scots. As this one's going to be Lane Wright taking over at the line of service. Wright, a senior here at Monmouth, kept up by O'Donohue. Schaffner back sets to Company, who's blocked and unable to get that one over the net is Brooklyn Shell. So another point for the Fighting Scots as they trail by 1 here in set number 1. Wright once again, a good serve. That one tipped up, Company able to keep it alive. Another tip past Shell once again. So the Fighting Scots do tie it up here early in set number 1.
And that was a beautiful spot there by Celis, who tipped it over, and she just found right in the middle of all those Red Devils the open spot.
That's right, and that one hit by Matson a little bit too strong, so the Red Devils get back on top 4-3 as Alyssa Company takes over to serve. Company, line drive of a serve, kept up there. Able to keep that one in play, over the net. Lear Mattis to the middle, Schaffner to Gauna with a big hit, into the net, and that one falls. So the Fighting Scots, after hitting that one directly into the net, unable to get it out and tip it back over. 5-3 in favor of the Red Devils. Company back at it. Line drive of serve there, kept up by Celis to the middle. And that was 3 hits as the ball was unable to get over.
That almost looked like a miscommunication there by the Scots. I mean, you saw that ball get tipped back towards the team like they were going to play it, and it just did not work that way for them.
That's right. This one to the middle, outside, big hit there by Celis, and that one is too strong. Another point for the Red Devils as they lead it 7-3 here in set number 1. Company back at it. Good serve there. That one's kept up. To the middle. Floater. Lear Mattis able to keep it up. Schaffner back to Shell, who's able to hit it over. Kept up there. Matson outside. The floater kept up by Schaffner. Nagel outside to Shell with a big hit. And that is a point for the Red Devils. Just able to keep that one in bounds. And the Fighting Scots take a timeout here as the Red Devils lead it 8-3 here early in set number 1.
And what a shift we've seen already from last night. I mean, the energy, the communication, everything we were talking about in the pregame is there. So if the Red Devils keep this up, this is going to be a fun game.
That's right, and this is something we've talked quite a lot about. The Red Devils typically unable to get that great early start in each set. And like we saw against Webster, they were able to do that. And they started off hot. They were able to keep up that momentum and just finish strong. And so far up to this point, they've been starting hot. Now it's just up to that, execution part. So both teams out of their huddles, back out onto the floor. Company will continue to serve for the Red Devils, hoping to keep up that hot streak she has going. Company with the serve. That one's kept up there by Celis. Back set. Serchan able to get that one down. So that'll be a point for the Fighting Scot. But the Red Devils are still up by 4. And this one is going to be Bergschneider to serve for the Fighting Scots. Bergschneider, also a senior here at Monmouth, as that one's kept up by Lear Mattis. Schaffner back sets to Gauna with the floater, unable to get that one to fall. Matson outside, Celis! That one was deflected off of one of the Red Devils and unfortunately out of bounds. So another point for the Fighting Scots as they trail by 3 here in set number 1. Bergschneider back over, Shell up, Schaffner, Lear Mattis calls it off. Kept up there by Wright. To the middle, big hit, kept up by Company. Schaffner outside the Shell with the floater, tip there. Gauna able to keep it up. Schaffner back sets to Nagel, kept in play by Matt Wright. Celis with a big hit. Lear Mattis able to keep that one up. And a diving attempt there by Schaffner, but not that much power on that hit, and it falls a little just behind her. So the Fighting Scots do get their 6th point of the night, as that one is served directly into the net. So the Red Devils gain another point, and we will have the ball back. Red Devils up 9-6 here in set number 1.
And I think we're seeing more of that Red Devils team that we're normally used to seeing, where they are very productive when they have the ball. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
That's right. Back to serve. Kept up there by Celis. Outside, the floater by Stachin. And that one's into the net. Unable to be dug out there by Claire Schaffner. Another point for this Monmouth team. as they trail by 2. Speaking of Strachan, she will take over to serve for the Fighting Scots. In a routine, there's the floater, kept up by Company. Beck outside to Shell with a big hit, block, kept up by Gauna. Shell outside to Crafton with the floater, kept up. This one's outside, Sealis off of the hands of Company, and that one is ricocheted out of bounds. So Monmouth finds themselves only trailing by 1 here in the first set. Strachan back at it. The floater of a serve, Gauna keeps it up. Back to Gauna. This one falls. 10-8 in favor of the Red Devils. And at this point, you would like to see the Red Devils start to pull away. They came in with that hot start. And something we haven't seen a lot of this year is just being able to keep up that motivation, especially from last night's performance. Shell with the serve, kept up there. Outside to Matson. Outside Heckman with the floater, tipped, kept up by Shell, and that's going to be a point for the Fighting Scots. It is now 10-9, Red Devils lead it. Sealis once again is going to be taking over the serve. Here she goes, good hit there. Company. Gauna with a big hit, dug out there, kept up by Aldrich. That one's hit over, Shell keeps it up. Beck outside to Heckman with a big hit, and that one falls. Another point for the Red Devils, 11-9. Chloe O'Donoghue for the first time tonight, now serving. Kept in play there by Sealis. This one's outside, Aldrich unable to get that one to fall. This one outside, Heckman with a big hit, tipped, kept up there. Matson tries to get that one down. Back in the middle, Shell with the floater, kept up there by Matson. This one outside, Aldrich. Shell keeps it up. Beck once again to Company with a big hit, dug out. And this one's still in play, and finally it is hit out of bounds. Another point for Eureka. O'Donoghue back in her routine, again with the serve. Off the net, able to get over. Matson outside to Aldrich. O'Donoghue keeps it up, Beck outside. Heckman unable to execute that one, and it goes into the net. Another point for the Fighting Scots as they trail by 2 here in set number 1. So it'll be Robinson at the line of service. And that one's going to be too strong. Another point for the Red Devils. And that's something we've seen a lot of last night. Obviously, the roles were reversed when the Red Devils would constantly serve the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
And
you would just see those strong hits coming from the girls, and they just couldn't get them to go down. They just kept going.
That's right. A little bit of too much power last night as Schaffner serves that one. Kept up by Robinson. Outside, Aldrich. Heckman out of bounds. So another point for Monmouth. Eureka still leads at 13-11. And it'll be Tyler Motson, the freshman out of from Monmouth, to serve. Matson out of Morton, Illinois. O'Donoghue keeps it up. Schaffner to the middle. Company able to get that one to fall. 14-11 Eureka. As Lyra Mattis comes in for Heckman, and she will be taking over at the line of service. Lyra Mattis, great serve there, kept in the air by Aldrich. Matson in the middle, Schaffner unable to get there. A little bit, maybe too strong for Schaffner, unable to react quick enough. So that is another point for the Fighting Scots, as Wright will serve for Monmouth. Ball's in the air, kept up by Shell. Schaffner backsets to Company again. Off the hands there. Matson backsets. Strachan to Schaffner. Nagel outside to Shell. Once again off the hands. Kept up there outside. Sealis. Off of the hands of either a Company or a Nagel, but that one out of bounds. And once again, Monmouth finds themselves only trailing by 1. So Wright hoping to continue these serves. Company gets blocked there. Nagel calls it off outside. Shell. And that one falls. Another point for Eureka. 15-13 here in set number 1. Now it'll be Alyssa Company to serve for the Red Devils. Great serve there, kept up in the air. Matson back sets outside, and nobody was there for this Red Devils defense. Another point for Monmouth. 15-14 the score here in set number 1.
That looked like a big miscommunication on the Red Devils. They just kind of all looked at each other as that ball fell right in the middle of the 4 of them.
Yeah, just a matter of getting that formation down. And that one off the hands of Shell, and it ricochets out of bounds as that ball nearly found itself in the stands. So for the first time tonight, Monmouth ties it up and is hoping to gain the lead against Eureka. Kept up by Lear Mattis. Schaffner outside. Shell floats it over. That one still in play. Matson back sets. Big hit there. Company able to keep it up. It goes over the net. Outside. Sealis gets blocked, but kept up. Matson once again stretching to Lear Mattis. Schaffner in the middle. Ghana with the floater. Kept up there. Matson back outside. Sealis once again. And that one falls off of the hands of Lear Mattis. So for the first time tonight, Monmouth on top, 16-15. It'll be Bergschneider at the line again. Company keeps it up. And that one into the net. Schaffner unable to dig it out. We saw that play last night where we'll get back to that in a second as Eureka takes a timeout here. But we saw that play last night from Schaffner where she let the ball find itself, or at least make its way into the net, and she was actually able to play it out of the net and get it over. Unfortunately, unable to do that on that last play.
Well, I've mentioned that in previous games. That's one of my personal favorite things that setters do, is they use that net in order to get the ball back up and make it playable again. And unfortunately, it doesn't work every time just because you have to do it just right in order for that to work. But it's very cool.
Yeah, that's right. It is a very difficult thing to do in volleyball. Although there are a lot of, I guess you can say, difficult things to do in volleyball. I mean, we've seen some of the power of Alyssa Company, we've seen Gauna. A lot of our players are very powerful when it comes to hitting, and that's what you look for in a team. But, you know, from up here, I mean, personally, I don't think I'd want to be down there.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's coming from both sides of this ball right now, because you have Company and Gauna on one side, and then you have Celis on Monmouth's side, who has 6 kills already this game, and there's 17 points for Monmouth on the board.
That's right. Bergschneider's serve is good. Company with a big hit, and that one is too strong. Another point for the Fighting Scots as they lead it 18-15 here in the first set. Bergschneider going back at it. Good serve there, kept up by Company, and it ricocheted off of her hands and went to the Red Devils bench in the corner. Another point for Monmouth. Bergschneider hoping to keep it up. Good serve there, and a little bit too strong. I always tend to do that. But, yeah. I mean, hey, it works for us, so another point for the Red Devils. 19-16, they trail. This one is going to be Chelsea Beck. Back at the line of service. Beck hoping to tie it back up after the Red Devils started off really hot. And maybe that momentum starting to fade away just a little bit. Good serve there to the middle. Back sets. And that one is too strong from Strachan. Another point for Eureka. It is now a 17-19 game. Back in her routine. Here's the serve. Kept up there. Outside, Sealis with a big hit. Company, that was O'Donoghue who was able to get a hand on it. but unfortunately hit it in the wrong direction, the opposite direction. It is now 20-17 in favor of Monmouth. Strachan with the serve, kept up by Shell. Beck to the middle, Gauna with a big hit off of the hands of Strachan, and another point for the Red Devils, 20-18.
And so we see a lot of those more traditional hits on this Red Devils team, and one thing that I've started to notice more is Alyssa Company has been attacking from the back row a lot more often, and I think once she gets that down, and she gets it down very well, that's going to be a killer for these other teams.
That's right, and that one coming from Nizia is too strong, and the Red Devils now only trailing by a single point. Brooklyn Shell to serve. Shell with a good serve there, kept up by Robinson. Back in the middle, kept up by Shell. Back to Gauna with a hit, that is blocked. Back set there, Crafton able to, trying to find the spot. Outside, Silas unable to get that one to fall. Shell calls it and hits it over. Kept up by Wright. Outside to Silas again, off of the hands of Shell. Heckman unable to get there, but a great effort. Almost running at full speed to get to that one.
That was a great volley right there from both sides. I mean, they weren't giving up, neither one of them.
That's right. I mean, this entire first set has been played really well by both sides as Silas serves that one to O'Donohue. Back outside, Crafton off the hands, kept up by Nizia. Outside again, Aldrich able to get that one past O'Donohue for the 22nd point for Monmouth here in set number one. And another timeout taken by the Red Devils. So yeah, I mean, Eureka started off the set really hot, and as I said it before, their momentum may be starting to die down here. It's not, you know, a huge deficit in between the score. Eureka only trailing by 3, but you like to, you know, not, one thing we did talk about was starting off hot, which Eureka was able to do, but at the same time, if you are able to accomplish that goal, you do want to see Eureka start to execute that plan and kind of drag that on until the end of the set, and that's how it should be every set.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we've seen a lot of improvement from this Red Devils team just from last night. And whether they win or lose this set, I always say it when we're on here, there's 4 more if they really want to go to 4, they want to use all 5 of them. So it's still anyone's game whether the Red Devils win or lose this one right now.
That's right, and like you said, the improvement has gone through the roof, even from the very first game of the season. Obviously for Eureka, the goal is to become conference champions, but you know, that all starts with one game at a time. So back out on the floor are both teams, the Red Devils and the Fighting Scots, ready to go back at it. Silas with a serve, that one's going to be hit by Heckman. Beck able to keep it up, and Shell's going to hit that one over. Kept up there by Nizia. Outside, Aldrich able to deflect that one off of the Red Devils' hands. And another point for Monmouth as they lead it 23-19. And they find themselves starting to pull away. Good serve there. O'Donohue able to keep it up. Beck outside. Heckman with a big hit. Kept in play. Matson outside. Aldrich tried to get the floater, but unable to do so successfully. And another point for the Red Devils. Red Devils once again only trailing by 3, trying to come back here late in the first set as O'Donohue takes over. Good serve. Aldrich once again into the net. Another point for Eureka, 23-21.
And those are not the mistakes you want to be seeing this late on into the game when the score is this close.
Good serve by O'Donohue. Matson outside. Aldrich, big hit kept up by Shell. Beck outside. Crafton unable to get that one to fall. Matson to the middle. Shell able to keep it up. O'Donohue towards the front. Heckman over. Kept up. And that one does fall right in front of Beck. So it is now 24-21. Monmouth leads. And they are 1 point away from taking set number 1. Good serve by Robinson. to the middle, back outside. Crafton with a big floater. I was about to say hit. It did look like she was about to go in for a big hit. But it is now 24-22. And if the Red Devils can at least gain another point here and kind of start to get that motivation back, that would be great. So it'll be Claire Schaffner to serve. Good serve there, kept up. Matson in the middle, outside. Aldrich with a big hit, blocked by Company. Matson once again, this time a little further back, dug out, and Schaffner, who was on the ground after that diving play, was unable to get to that one. So the final for set number 1, 25-22 in favor of the Monmouth Fighting Scots. And obviously, you like to see the Red Devils start to pick things up here and get back into it in set number 2.
And I think, like we have said already, we've seen a lot of improvement, and I don't think it's impossible for the team to come back and get this.
Yeah, that's right.
But, we have stats here. Celis has 9, while Gauna is leading Eureka with 3. So, yeah. And we're going to go down to the floor to speak to the coach of the Eureka Red Devils now. And, yeah.
So far, obviously, maybe not the start that you'd like to see with losing the first set, but what kind of game plan do you have to kind of get back on track in set number 2?
Game plan moving forward in set number 2 is just we got to pass the ball, right? Our serve receive has got to be a little bit better. Defensively, I think we can make some more transitions on defense, but we've got to get our middles ready and we've got to get our middles going, and that starts with passing. So focusing in on serve receive, passing, and getting our middles going, that's my plan moving forward.
That's right. Who do you think stands out on this Red Devils team that'll kind of help push forward moving throughout this game?
I mean, as of right now, it's got to be our middles, right? Our middles are standout middles. We have the 2 best middles right now. Honestly, in the conference, even though we're playing a non-conference match right now, we've got to get Hallie and Alyssa going right now. And again, my back row defense has to be better and my back row passing has to be better. As soon as I can get my libero going as well with good passes, we're going to be unstoppable.
My last question, what do you see from Monmouth that you'd like to try to prevent?
They have 1 hitter. That's it. We stop their 1 hitter, game changer. That's it.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
That would be it. Game time. Got to go 4 now.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, as both teams getting ready to go here, we are going to send it to break, so stay tuned. You're watching Eureka Red Devils Volleyball on ECTV.
Does school even do it?
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Welcome back to the Reagan Athletic Complex. On that last play, Schaffner with the serve was able to knock it off the hands of Wright for a Red Devils point. First one of set number 2. Matson outside. Strachan kept up by Shell. Schaffner back sets, accompanied with the floater, kept up by Strachan. Matson outside, unable to get that one to fall is right. Shell back to Heckman, blocked there, and that one stays in bounds. It'll be a point for the Fighting Scots.
And as we're going into the second set, you see the student section is growing, and we talk about this every single game. That is not a fun position to be in when you are the opposing team for this Red Devils.
That's right. Schaffner struggling to get to that one, but it is going to be a point for the Red Devils. So the Red Devils now lead it 2-1 here in set number 2. The chants are starting to break out. That is the Eureka Red Devils baseball team.
And you really love to see that student support of all of the teams coming together to support the others.
This one outside Strachan, and unable to get there is Claire Schaffner. Maybe some miscommunication between Lear Mattis and Schaffner, but either way, a great effort. So we are all tied up at 2 here in the second set, and this one is going to be Bergschneider for the Fighting Scots to serve. Trying to get Monmouth back on top. Shell keeps it up. Schaffner to the middle. Company with a big hit. Able to get that one to fall. 3-2 Eureka. Company taking over to serve for Eureka. That is a great word to say. Company getting ready. Good serve there, kept in play by Sealis. Matson back to Sealis with a big hit. Off of the hands of one of the Red Devils and able to fall. So it is a 3-3 ball game here in set number 2. This is going to be Strachan back to serve. And that one kept in play by Lear Mattis. To the middle, Gauna unable to get that floater down. Matson back outside Sealis with the tip. Lear Mattis to Schaffner, who hits it over, kept in play. Matson again. Ulrich unable to get that down. Lear Mattis back sets to Shell, and that one's going to go out of bounds. Off of the hands of one of the Monmouth players down there.
There were a few of them who ran after that ball, and I think they just didn't talk it through and didn't say, I want that one.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. So Eureka back on top, 4-3. Here in the second set, as Chelsea Beck for the Red Devils is going to serve, trying to add on to this Red Devils lead. Good serve there, and just out of bounds. Great read there from number 19, Zoe Nizia on Monmouth. With those serves that are really close to that line, you can never really tell. So at that point, it's just an act of judgment on behalf of the Fighting Scots. Sealis with the serve. Kept in play by Shell. Beck able to dig it out. Gauna with a hit. Finds an open gap. 5-4. Eureka leads it. Brooklyn Shell finds her way back to the line of service. This is typically where you like to see Eureka add on to their lead and pull away. Kept up there. Matson outside. Ulrich off the hands. Shell able to get that one up. Heckman on the outside with the floater. Diving there was Robinson, able to keep it in play. Crafton over. Matson kept up by Robinson. Outside Ulrich to Company. In the middle, Gauna off the hands of Nizia. 6-4 Red Devils. Crowd getting more involved as Eureka starting to heat up. Shell with the serve there. Matson back sets. And that one is going to go past Company. Let's see. And that is a Red Devils point. Too strong there from Robertson, the junior. 7-4. Eureka leads it. Shell trying to add on.
And Shell is having herself a game tonight. She is second in kills tonight with 3.
That's right. Robertson able to find a space there on the floor. Another Fighting Scots point. They do trail 7-5. Good serve there by Robinson. Shell calls it off, back outside. Heckman with the hit. Kept up. Matson outside. Ulrich able to get that one past Company. And that's something you definitely don't see quite often. Company usually able to dig that one out, but not this time. 7-6 in favor of the Red Devils. Robinson back at it, kept up by Company. Crafted outside, Gowner with the floater. Ball still in play. Matson, good hit there. That is off of the hands of Shell. Heckman back to Shell, keeps it in play. Matson outside, Ulrich with the hit, and that one is out of bounds. A Red Devils point. Monmouth getting a little too cocky there.
And you can see the frustration, especially from their coach over there, that was tipped. But personally, as the sky view, I did not see a tip.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what happens when you make TikTok dances before the start of the game. Matson back outside. Ulrich with a big hit, kept up by Shell. Back outside. Heckman kept up there by Sealis. Matson able to keep that one in play. Ulrich over. Back to the middle. Company with the floater. Matson's there. This one outside. Ulrich again. Diving O'Donoghue. Unable to get that one over, but a great effort. We saw a lot of O'Donoghue's diving plays last night, which he was able to keep in play, but it is 8-7 in favor of Eureka. This one going to be Tyler Matson, the freshman, back again to serve for Monmouth. Great serve there. Heckman keeping it in play. Crafton outside. Company hits it over. This one to Matson again. Outside, Ulrich with a big hit off the hands, and that was almost, it looked like it was caught by Nagel.
I think she got a little lost there because it almost looked like she was looking for it to be behind her, and then it landed in her arms.
Yeah, that was great reaction from Nagel as O'Donoghue to Nagel. Company is blocked. Oh, excuse me, that was actually a great hit off of the hands of one of the Monmouth players. Yeah, who do they think they are to block Alyssa Company?
And one of the things I noticed in this first set is their head coach was sitting the entire time, and now he's starting to pace a little bit and squat down and watch closer. When this Eureka Red Devils team, it's almost like they weren't ready and they weren't intimidated at all by this Red Devils team.
That's right. Strachan hits that one directly into the net. I think it's supposed to go over, but that is a Eureka Red Devils point as they now lead it 10-8. Claire Schaffner taking over at the line of service. Line drive of serve there. Kept in play. Matson to the middle. Outside. Tip. And a point for Eureka. 11-8. Schaffner hoping to dial things up. In her routine, there's the serve. Line drive kept up in the middle. Matson outside to Strachan. Big hit, with the floater. Shell outside. Nagel with a big hit. That is blocked. And that is going to be a Fighting Scots point.
Me personally, I do not like that call because I thought it was very clearly a block. And they just called a 4-hit for the Red Devils.
Yeah, it almost looked like Nagel was able to block it. It went back to the Monmouth side, and then Nagel hit it back over. But I guess that is a point for the Fighting Scots. This one hit over, kept up by Sealis. Matson in the middle. There's the floater. And that is off of the hands of one of the Fighting Scots players. A Red Devils point as they lead at 12-9 here in set number 1. Lexi Lear-Mattis back in to serve for Eureka. There's that great serve kept in play. Matson back outside. Sealis blocked there. Let's see what the rest decide to call that. That will be a Fighting Scots point. 12-10.
They'll call Nagel in the net for the Red Devils.
Yeah, you know, it almost seems like the refs aren't completely sure of the calls they want to make. O'Donoghue to Lear-Mattis. Schaffner calls it off and hits it over. Kept up there. Outside, Sealis with a big hit, blocked but keeps it in the air. That one's going to be hit over, but it is going to be called a Red Devils point. 13-10 Eureka here in set number 2. So it'll be Alyssa Company to serve for the Red Devils. Company, who's been playing impressive all season so far. That was off the hands of Sealis and out of bounds. And a timeout is called by the Fighting Scots. Going into this timeout, Eureka leads at 14-10. But as I was saying, Alyssa Company, I think we've talked about her almost at least once every single game.
Oh, 100%. I mean, she's there. I'm pretty sure she's still the kill leader for this Red Devils team, as well as she's just very good.
Yeah, she has 54 kills coming into this one.
Yeah. Just an absolute star player. And along with her, Hallie Gauna is insane, is doing phenomenal tonight. I believe she's at, 5 kills tonight. So she's also just killing it.
Yeah, that's right. And this is a very, very dangerous Red Devils team. You know, looking on paper, most fans don't believe in that, but when you really come in here to this vicinity and just watch the Red Devils, it truly is something special.
It really is, especially like the atmosphere we have going right now. You can tell the fans are very into it, so it just makes it that much more fun. And it makes our jobs a lot easier when everyone else is having a good time.
That's right. Both teams back at it. Company with the serve. That one kept in the air by Sealis. Matson back to Sealis in the middle. Blocked. Gauna with the hit. Kept in play. This one's hit over. Company calls it off. Schaffner back sets. Nagel. That one goes out of bounds. Another point for the Red Devils. 15-10.
I've said it once, and I'll probably say it 1,000 more times this season. Hallie Gauna is so good. She is very talented on all aspects. I mean, she can block, she can hit, she can do it all.
Kept in play by Robinson. Sealis back to Company. Schaffner in the middle. Gauna with a big hit. Diving is right, but unable to get to that one. 16-10. Red Devils lead it.
You see that Monmouth team sitting in that huddle just a little longer, and you got to wonder what's being said in there to their teammates.
That's right. Company back at it. Line drive of a serve. Matson tries to hit it over. The Red Devils were ready for it. Nagel with a big hit. That one falls. 17-10 Eureka. Matson tried to trick the Red Devils, but not able to do so. Company back at it. Kept up by Sealis. Matson outside. Sealis with a big hit. Kept in the air. Schaffner keeps it up. Lyra Mattis outside the shell. Kept in play. Matson in the middle. That one's hit over by Strachan. Lyra Mattis calls it off. Shell back out with a floater. Matson able to keep that one in the air. Robinson outside. And that one, unfortunately, does fall. But the Red Devils still have a great lead, 17-11 here in set number 2.
And you know, I think we've seen a lot of improvement from Brooklyn Shell these last few games. I mean, I feel like a lot of the times we're calling her hits out of bounds, and she's up there with Alyssa Company tonight on kills. So
that's right.
Great difference.
Kept in the air there. Nagel outside with a big hit and way too strong. Into the stands nearly. So another point, the 12th for Monmouth, as they trail by 5 here in the second set. Strachan continuing to serve at the line. Lyra Mattis digs it out. Shell back in play. Company hits it over. Robinson keeps it up. Matson outside. Out of bounds. Whoa. That's
a crazy call.
That was not the right call.
I definitely thought that was like a good 6 inches out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, that definitely was. But they do call it a Monmouth point. Strachan, Leo Mattis keeps it up. Schaffner backsets, Nagel over. Kept up. This one outside. Sealis off the hands of, I think that was Nagel. Another point for Monmouth, and the Red Devils will call a timeout here. Luckily, the Red Devils do still lead at 17-14, but of course, you'd like to see them hold on to that lead and start to pull away late in the second set.
And you have to wonder what coach is saying in that huddle right now, because they are still up, but we've also seen this happen before where these Red Devils, they fall behind even with that lead. So getting that and keeping that lead is vital for this team right now.
Exactly. And, you know, back to that timeout there, you got to think that Coach Bogart is just telling them, you know, come off the floor, just take a deep breath, kind of get back into things, you know, no stress. Like you said, they're up by 3, so there's no worry right now, but at the same time, you don't want to underestimate this Monmouth team.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, they are a very good team coming in at 8-6, so record-wise, they are a little bit better than Eureka, but Eureka proving they can play just as well. Strachan with the serve. Leo Mattis digs it out. Schaffner outside. Shell with a big hit. Blocked. And another point for Monmouth as they now lead it, as they now trail by 2, 17-15. Strachan will continue to serve. And that one is too strong. Great read by Leo Mattis. 18-15 as she allows the Red Devils to get the ball back. So this one is going to be handed over to Chelsea Beck to serve. Schaffner and Nagel both out. Beck with the great serve, kept in play. Matson outside, Sealis with a hit. Leo Mattis keeps it in play. Beck outside, Shell. Kept in the air by Robinson. Matson outside, Sealis again. Company keeps it up, but that is called a Monmouth point. And they now only trail by 2, 18-16 the score here in the second set. Kaylee Sealis will serve for Monmouth, hoping to tie it up. Kept in the air, Beck outside. Leo Mattis hits it over. Robinson able to touch that one up. Outside, Ulrich unable to get that one to fall. Leo Mattis outside. Shell floats it over. Kept in the air, Matson into the middle. Big hit past Company. And at this point, the Fighting Scots find themselves only trailing by 1. 18-17 is the score here in set number 2. Sealis once again with the serve, kept up by Shell, and Leo Mattis, barely able to just into the net. Maybe some miscommunication between the Red Devils. That one almost fell, but Beck dove, was able to dig it out, and actually hit it out of bounds, and Leo Mattis ended up hitting it into the net. Beck backsets. Big hit by Shell. Outside, Ulrich. That one is inbounds. Another point for Monmouth, and they grab the lead 19-18 here in set number 2. You like to see the fans maybe start to get into it more. Sealis once again, Shell. And that one I believe is inbounds, and it is. I think.
I personally, even though I am a Red Devils fan, I thought that one was out. But apparently not. And I think these volleyball coaches are starting to wish that you could throw a flag like you can in football to challenge a penalty.
That's right. So once again, the ref's a little confused on that last play. That's why you don't get refs from wish. Big hit there, kept up by Shell, and it does go out of bounds. So Monmouth leads at 20-19 here in set number 2. Robinson, short serve, and Company hits it into the net. the Fighting Scots find themselves pulling away here in set number 2. You'd like to see a late Red Devils comeback, especially since in set 1 and 2, they were the first team out of the 2 to grab the lead. Heckman is blocked there.
And I think Eureka held the lead in this game for a majority of it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's just, like I said, just trying to execute and finish strong, and they have yet to do that here tonight. Robinson again with a short serve, but it is over. Beck to Shell, and that one off the hands of Matson, and it goes out of bounds. Red Devils trail by 2. The score 22-20. Chloe O'Donoghue serving for Eureka. Kept in the air there. Matson outside. Ulrich blocked by Company. Red Devils trail by 1 late in the second set.
This back and forth is definitely the most stressful part of this job because it's just makes it hard for us. Yeah.
Matson outside. Ulrich with a big hit. Too strong. The Red Devils tie it up at 22 here late in the second set. And you got to think Coach Bogart is happy about that. Maybe not so thrilled that the Red Devils gave up their lead to begin with, but the fact that they came back is what matters. And that one off the hands of Company. Heckman unable to get there. So Monmouth does have the lead once again, 23-22. It'll be Tyler Matson to serve for the Fighting Scots. As the ref blows the whistle, signaling for Matson to serve. Kept in the air by Heckman. Beck outside. Crafton over. Matson keeps it up. Robinson outside. Ulrich with a big hit blocked by Company. All tied up here at 23 here in the second set. So it'll be Claire Schaffner to serve for Eureka. And, you know, in volleyball, you do have to win by 2. So this actually might be an instance in which this second set extends. And unfortunately, Schaffner serves that one directly into the net, maybe getting in her head a little bit. So Monmouth 1 point away from winning set number 2. Taking over at the line of service is Lane Wright, the senior out of Davenport, Iowa. Wright with a good serve, kept up by Company. Heckman to the middle. Company outside. Chloe O'Donoghue unable to get that one over. And that will wrap things up here in the second set. 25-23, the final in favor of Monmouth. And as both teams switch sides on the floor again, we're going to get ready for set number 3. But for now, we're going to go to break. Stay tuned. You're watching Eureka Red Devils Volleyball on ECTV.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. You can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
A good citizen is someone who wants to make a positive impact, both in their communities and in the world around them. The Division III approach is absolutely the best approach out there for amateur sport because it wants student athletes to explore all parts of who they are. Be successful in the classroom, be successful in competition, be successful in the community. So our student athletes learn what it means to strive for and attain success, but doing it the right way and being good citizens.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Welcome back to the Reagan Athletic Complex. In set number 2, the Red Devils were unfortunately unable to maintain their early lead. So Monmouth does find themselves coming into this third set leading 2-0 in regard to the amount of sets. And they will start with the ball as Matson serves that one over. Company in the air. Schaffner back to Company. Off the hands of one of the Fighting Scots. And so far in all 3 sets, the Red Devils, the first ones to get a point. As Lyra Mattis comes in and is serving. Great serve there, just out of bounds. Not something you see a lot from Lyra Mattis.
I would almost say she's one of our stronger and more consistent servers, so that definitely is very out of character for her, is getting one of those balls out of bounds.
That's right. O'Donoghue hit it over, and that was a big hit. Too strong for Lyra Mattis, but not much you can do there. But as you were saying, Lyra Mattis definitely one of the better servers on this team. She's very accurate, and yeah, on that last couple of plays ago, it's not something you see a lot from her. Company running out of bounds, able to keep it in play. Lyra Mattis hits it over. Kept up by Robinson. Matson backsets. Big hit there by Stretching. And that is a point for Monmouth. 3-1 the score. Fighting Scots lead it here in the third set. And as you might have seen last night, the Red Devils fell short in just 3 straight sets. Obviously not looking to do that here tonight, as Wright from Monmouth serves that one out of bounds. And the Red Devils have their second point here in set number 3. Company back at the service line. And that one off the net, kept in the air by, I believe that was Sealis. Schaffner outside. Nagel unable to keep that one in play. 4-2 in favor of Monmouth. So now taking over at the line of service, it'll be Bergschneider. That one's a good serve, and Company hits that in the wrong direction. Lyra Mattis almost running directly into the stands. Saved by a couple of fans there.
Love to see it. Love to see the students supporting students.
That's right. Bergschneider hits it over. Company keeps it up. Schaffner. Lyra Mattis calls it off, hits it over. Watson Wright outside. Sealis off the hands of Nagel. Another point for the Fighting Scots, and they lead it 6-2 here in the third set.
And that block almost looked like it was supposed to be a soft block rather than one of those harder blocks, and you could see Nagel's frustration with that when the ball went out of bounds.
That's right. Kept up there. Matson backsets. Big hit. Misjudged by Schaffner. Oh, and they are going to call that a Red Devils point. I guess it went out of bounds.
Yep.
Might have missed it.
And no one touched it.
That's right. So Red Devils gain their third point of set number 3. And it will now be their ball as they hope to come back, if not, at least, gain the lead.
And I think that is very possible, especially with this team. We see that quite often where they come back.
That's right. Something you'd like to see the Red Devils do a little bit more often as Beck gets ready to serve for the Red Devils. Good serve there. Kept in the air. Silas, this one's outside. Kept up by Lear Mattis. Beck to the middle. Gauda with a big hit, and that one falls. 6-4, but that is another point for the Red Devils as they start to make their way back into this game. Beck hoping to continue that up. Keep that up, I should say. Line drive of serve there, dug out. Matson outside. Silas with a big hit, blocked, kept in the air. Matson back sets, stretching, is able to find a hole, and that'll be a point for the Fighting Scots. 7-4, they lead it here in set number 3. Strachan, who was just involved in that last play, will now be taking over at the line of service. Strachan with a floater into the net, and that'll be a Red Devils point as they also get the ball back. So only trailing by 2 here in the third set. It'll be Brooklyn Shell to serve. Shell in her senior year here at Eureka. Good serve there, kept in the air by Robinson. Matson outside. Silas with a big hit, too strong. Red Devils now only trailing by 1, 7-6 the score. Shell hoping to keep that up in her routine. Here's the serve, line drive, kept up by Robinson. Matson to Silas. Shell keeps it in play. This one, Gauna unable to get that one down. Matson kept up there by Mizia, and that'll be a Red Devils point. Had to give it a minute as that ball was just dangling in the air, but Gauna able to knock that one down. So the Red Devils do tie it up at 7 here in set number 3. Shell and the Red Devils hoping to take the lead. Good serve there, kept in play by Mizia. Outside, and that one is able to fall for Monmouth. So unfortunately, they do find themselves back on top, but luckily only by 1. And this one's going to be Silas taking over at the service line. Good serve there, kept up by Heckman, who hits it over. In the middle, Robinson sets it outside. Ulrich kept up and unable to get there is Brooklyn Shell. Another point for the Fighting Scots. They now lead at 9-7 here in set number 3. Once again, good serve by Silas, but too strong. We've seen that quite a few times here tonight on both sides where the serve has been a little bit too strong. That's what happens when the adrenaline is pumping throughout your body. And such an important game as O'Donoghue with a laser. Matson keeps it up. That one hit over. Diving is Beck to keep it up, but hits it out of bounds. 10-8 in favor of the Fighting Scots. Taking over at the service line is Savannah Robinson, the senior out of Delavan, Illinois. Kept up by Heckman. Beck to the middle. Heckman again, unable to execute. Outside, Aldrich, too strong. Red Devils, once again, only trailing by a single point.
And Aldrich is up there with Celis on the Monmouth side. She's got 10 kills tonight, while Celis is at 16. And then we have Gauna over on the Red Devils is sitting at 8, while Company leads her with 5.
That's right. So it'll be Claire Schaffner once again to serve for the Red Devils. Speaking of the Schaffners, we did get to see Chloe Schaffner come in to play last night. But for now, Claire serves that one. That is off of the hands of Silas and out of bounds. And the Red Devils are all tied up at 10 here in set number 3. Schaffner with the Red Devils crowd right behind her for support. Line drive of a serve, unfortunately, once again into the net. Schaffner unable to execute that one. You can tell she's frustrated with herself, but still a lot of game left to go. Monmouth leading 11-10 as Matson takes over at the line. Good serve there. Kept up by Shell. Schaffner outside to Nagel with a big hit. Kept in the air. Matson outside. Aldrich off of the hands of Nagel, and that'll be another Fighting Scots point. 12-10 the score. Matson once again directly to Shell. Back to Schaffner. Company this time, able to get that one to drop. 12-11 the score in favor of Monmouth as Lear Mattis comes in for Heckman. And she will also be taking over at the service line. Lear Mattis with a great serve, kept in the air. Outside, Matson back to the middle, and that is too strong. So the Red Devils tie it up at 12 here in set number 3. We talked about Lear Mattis in the pregame, how successful she is with her serving, and that play proves exactly my point. 13-12, Eureka back on top. Lear Mattis once again. Great serve there off of the hands of Aldrich. Matson hits it over. Company to Schaffner. Back to Company with the floater. Kept in the air by Matson. Robinson outside. Strachan. Lear Mattis keeps it up. Schaffner to Company with the floater. Maybe some miscommunication and a Red Devils point. 14-12. Eureka leads it here in the third set. Lear Mattis will continue to serve. Kept up there. Matson outside. Strachan too strong. Another point for the Red Devils. And a timeout will be taken by Monmouth. Going into this one, Eureka leads at 15-12 here in the third set.
So this is actually kind of crazy to me. Eureka is going to play Fontbonne once again on Saturday at Fontbonne this time. So they're going to get the chance to rematch that game Saturday.
That's right, and that'll be an opportunity for Eureka to kind of get vengeance on Fontbonne. Obviously, losing to them last time, especially, in front of your home crowd, not something you typically like to see, but they do have a second chance, and I'm sure they're looking forward to that, but one game at a time. And right now, it's just a matter of trying to come back and win this one. Already down 2 sets. Luckily up 15-12 here in this third set. The Red Devils already back out on the floor. That's a great picture right there. You can tell how disappointed the Fighting Scots are.
Especially this back and forth between these two teams has been insane. Because, the Red Devils will hold the lead for an majority of the set, and then it'll flip back, and Monmouth will somehow pull it out.
That's right. Obviously, that's not typically what you want to see.
No.
But the Red Devils do have a secret weapon as Lear Mattis gets that one over Shell. And that one goes out of bounds from Monmouth, and a Red Devils point will be added to the scoreboard, 16-12. Lear Mattis once again, great serve there. Hit the opposite direction. Robinson to Matson, who hits it over. O'Donoghue in the air. Schaffner sets it up for Company, and that one falls. 17-12 in favor of Eureka.
And I would pay a lot of money to hear what is going through the head of the Monmouth coaches and players right now, because you just won 2 sets in a row, and now Eureka's dominating. So
definitely an interesting thing to think about as Company with the floater that falls. Back-to-back plays, Alyssa Company. And Eureka now leads it 18-12. Lear Mattis again, kept up there by Wright. Outside, big hit. Trying to keep it in play, Schaffner, and unable to do so as she was afraid of running into those bleachers there. And that is a very scary play. Obviously, you'd like to see him make the play, but at the same time, health is the main concern.
Oh, 100%. And those bleachers are not nice. They're not nice to run into.
Yeah, I don't speak from experience, but I don't plan on doing so either. And that is Robinson from Monmouth able to get that one to drop. So Eureka still up by 4, 18-14 the score. This one's going to be Lane Wright to serve. Lear Mattis keeps it up. Schaffner to Company with a big hit off the hands, and that one drops. 19-14, Eureka leads it. And it'll now be Alyssa Company who just got that point at the service line, trying to add on and grab set number 3. Company in her routine, getting ready to serve. Great hit there. And that one is off the hands of Robinson, directly onto the floor. Eureka leading 20-14. Company hoping to keep it up. 5 points away from taking this third set. Great serve there, dug out. Matson back set, Strachan, kept up by Schaffner, Nagel. Lear Mattis to Shell, Company with a floater just over the net. Back set again, Strachan. And that is going to be a Red Devils point. 21-14.
You can see the frustration on these Monmouth players' faces and their coaches, but you love to see it for the Red Devils.
Yeah, exactly. Great hit there. I believe that was Savannah Robinson. And that is a point for Monmouth, their 15th of this third set. This one is going to be Teunis, who we haven't seen quite often, to serve. Schaffner outside, Shell with the floater. Matson there to back it up. Teunis outside. Sealis off the hands of Nagel. Another point for Monmouth. And the Red Devils do call a timeout. So going into this one, Eureka up 21-16.
And you kind of have to wonder if Monmouth can pull this off, this comeback. Obviously, we don't want to see that as EC, but you kind of have to wonder, and you have to wonder if that's what they're talking about in there, because we have seen it happen already 2 times.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, you know, as Eureka, you'd like to limit, but again, I'm sure this timeout call by Coach Bogart is just another kind of reset.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're still up by quite a lot, so with only being 4 points away from grabbing set number 3, you know, you just got to focus on where you're at right now and kind of how to execute the rest of the set.
For sure. Frankly, I think this Red Devils team has been doing very well tonight. I mean, we came into this, Monmouth actually just defeated Westminster not too long ago. They beat them in 4 sets. So coming in and competing how we have been already is impressive enough, because that's obviously the game that we lost. So, yeah.
Both teams back out on the floor. Teunis at the line of service again. I should say continuing to be at the line of service. And that one's directly into the net. And she is back out of the game. That's what happens when you can't serve correctly. Another Red Devils point, 22-16 the score. In favor of Eureka, Chelsea Beck will be the one to serve. Beck in her routine, bouncing the ball several times. In the air, there's the serve. Kept up there. Back in front, Robinson able to get it over. O'Donoghue up. Beck to Gauna. Unable to execute that hit. As the ball went directly into the net there. 22-17. And Monmouth does get the ball back. This one is going to be Chloe Strachan. The serve. Good serve there. Lear Mattis digs it out. Back to Gauna again with the floater. And that is a Monmouth point. Monmouth starting to inch their way back into this one. Strachan hoping to continue doing so. And that one's out of bounds. Great read by Lear Mattis. Another point for Eureka, 23-18 here in set number 3. 2 points away from winning this one, as it'll be Brooklyn Shell to serve. Red Devils fan base getting into it. Here's the serve. On drive, kept up there by Nizia. Gauna able to get that one over, and that is a Red Devils point, 24-18. And Eureka now 1 point away from taking set number 3 and staying alive. Here's the serve. Shell gets it over, kept up by Nizia. That's an outside. Sealis. Shell keeps it up. Beck in the middle. Gauna with a hit. That one's going back. Able to keep it up. And that one is going to go out of bounds. So the Red Devils win set number 3. And once again, both teams will switch sides of the floor. The final in this set, 25-18. We're going to go to break. Stay tuned. You're watching Eureka Red Devils Volleyball here on ECTV.
The airwaves just got a refresh, and you need to spin your dial to 103.1 to find out. EC 103.1 is your latest and freshest option at your disposal, with the latest alternative rock hits, new personalities, and live sporting events at Eureka College. With an award-winning pedigree, EC 103.1 will quickly be the only thing you want to hear on your radio. Now on the FM airwaves and streaming globally on iHeartRadio. EC 103.1, your rock alternative.
Calvin got diagnosed June 10th of 2018. He has rhabdomyosarcoma, a soft tissue cancer. But St. Jude has covered everything. And coming here, they're like, we are going to do everything we can. And when they say everything, they mean everything. St. Jude is like the gold at the end of a rainbow for a family like ours. They've really given our family hope. And we are so grateful and thankful for everything.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When people ask us who we are, we tell them we're problem solvers, opportunity creators, community builders, and change makers. We are Rotary. Around the world, our network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, and leaders volunteer their skills, expertise, and resources to solve issues and address community needs. We are people of action. Join us, and together, we can make an even greater impact. Find out how you can get involved at rotary.org/action.
Welcome back to the Reagan Athletic Complex as we get ready for set number 4. Eureka taking the third set, able to keep themselves alive in this one. Both teams back out on the floor, getting ready to get things rolling once again. And I believe the Red Devils will start with the ball in set number 4. Claire Schaffner to serve. Here we go. Schaffner with a great serve, kept up there. Matson outside, big hit there by Wright, and that one does fall. So for the first time tonight, the Fighting Scots gain the first point of any of the sets. At the line of service, it'll be Lane Wright. Great serve, dug out by Company. Schaffner back out. Shell kept up by Sealis. Matson outside. Sealis blocked, kept in the air, and O'Donoghue diving into the stands, having to be helped up, but she seems to be okay. And that was a point for Monmouth. 2-0 to score here in the fourth set. Right, hoping to keep things up. O'Donoghue gets it in the air. Schaffner outside. Nagel over. Kept up by Robinson. Matson in the middle. Big hit there by Robertson. That one dug out. Matson outside. Sealis with a hit. Too strong. And the Red Devils have their first point of this fourth set. Red Devils trailing 2-1 here in set number 4. It is still very early, so not too worried, especially knowing how dangerous this Red Devils team can be. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen the amazing comebacks. Lear Mattis with a great serve, dug out by Wright. Outside, Sealis. That is past O'Donoghue and unable to fall. 3-1 Monmouth. So maybe not the start the Red Devils were hoping for, but as I just said, it is still pretty early. This one going to be Savannah Robinson at the line of service for the Fighting Scots. The Monmouth bench starting to get into the swing of things, making themselves more involved. Good serve there. O'Donoghue keeps it up. Schaffner in the middle. Company. Nobody's there. It'll be a Red Devils point. 3-2.
No one even went after that.
Yeah, I mean, Company has such a powerful hit. You can't even imagine the speed of the ball. It must be difficult to have the reaction time to get there. Company with the serve. Kept in the air by Sealis. Matson outside. Back to Sealis. And that one falls. So the Matson-Sealis duo continuing to show out.
And I feel like we're almost seeing a different side of this Monmouth team, like almost more aggressive on their side.
Good serve there. Company able to get it. Gauna with the floater. That is inbounds in the very back corner. So the Red Devils now only trailing by 1. This one's going to be Chelsea Beck at the line of service. Good serve there. Kept in the air by Robinson. Back up front, Sealis with the floater. Nobody's there. More miscommunication. We've seen that a lot from both teams. And once again, it'll be Kaylee Sealis taking over at the line of service. Good serve there. Dug out by Company. Flournoy outside. Gauna. That is a Monmouth point. Sealis once again. Great serve. Dug out by Company again. And into the net was dug out by Beck, but it was hit out of bounds and nobody was there. So now leading it is Monmouth 7-3. Sealis again. This time to Shell. Beck in the middle. Gauna with the floater. Kept in the air by Aldrich. Right to O'Donoghue. Ricocheted into the stands. A little bit of, at least too much of a hard hit to handle for O'Donoghue. And the Red Devils take a timeout as they trail by 5 here in the fourth set.
So what do you think this Red Devils team needs to do in order to bring the win back to them? So we go into a fifth set now.
I mean, obviously, a lot of it is just having the motivation to continue. A lot of the times, you know, when you're, and I believe I'm speaking for all athletes when I say this, when you're trailing, it's hard to stay in the game and it's hard to continue to fight. But, I mean, we saw the Red Devils do it last set, and, you know, that's one thing. You just like to see them keep it up here. Another thing, too, is just having that communication. We've seen several instances just in this set alone where the Red Devils weren't able to cover a specific spot on the floor, and it caused a point to be put on the scoreboard for Monmouth. Back at it. Mattis diving on that last play to keep it up. Kept in the air outside. Aldrich unable to get that one to fall, and that is Tayunis, who does allow that one to drop. 9-3 Monmouth. O'Donoghue unable to get that one in the air on that diving play. You can tell the Red Devils fan base may be starting to quiet down a little bit as Silas continues to serve. Kept up by O'Donoghue. Beck outside, Flournoy with the floater, and that is out of bounds. So unfortunately, several plays where Monmouth has been the team out of the two to gain the point. Silas back at it. Great serve, kept up by Mattis, but ricocheted out of bounds. And I think Beck just rolled under the scorer's table.
Oh, that's not good.
I hope she's okay. She went down pretty rough.
Yeah, and I don't see her getting up.
She's being checked out by Coach Bogart right now. And from the looks of it, I don't think she's doing all that well. I don't have yet to see her get up.
And the trainer, I believe, is over there with her right now. That is not ideal whatsoever right now, because she has been doing very well tonight.
Yeah, and that's obviously the last thing you want to see. I mean, up to a point, you do have two teams competing, but like I said, health is the most important factor when it comes to competing. So you do hope that she is okay. You gotta love the effort.
I see her head popping up.
And yeah, she's definitely being checked out there.
Oh yeah.
And of course, you just hope she's okay as the fans start to cheer for her. She's still down. She really took a hard fall, and she almost rolled under the table. So as this break continues, the Fighting Scots currently lead at 12-3 here in the fourth set. And finally, Beck is able to get on her feet with some help as the fans applaud, but I don't believe will be returning to this game as she's going to continue to be checked out.
And she's over there laughing.
Yeah.
So we can point that out. She is okay.
Rubbing her shoulder.
Yeah.
Maybe just landed wrong. But for now, Silas serves it to Lear Mattis, who keeps it up. Nagel outside. Shell with the floater. Dug out there by Bergschneider. Outside, right. Is able to get that one to drop. And Monmouth is now up by 10 here in set number 4. Silas hoping to continue to pull away. Another great serve. Lear Mattis able to get it up. A little bit of a weird hit. Flournoy hits it over. Kept in the air. Bergschneider outside. And unable to get that over is Aldrich. So that is a Eureka Red Devils point. And they now trail 13-4 the score. It'll be Brooklyn Shell to take over at the line of service. Hoping to get something going here for the Red Devils and try to find their way back. Kept up. Bergschneider outside, right with a big hit. O'Donoghue does keep it in the air, but it goes out of bounds into the stands. So another point for Monmouth. And now it'll be Tayunis to serve for the Fighting Scots. Great serve there, and Heckman believed that one to go out of bounds, but it does in fact stay in bounds. So just a misread on that last play. 15-4 in favor of Monmouth. Teunis once again too strong. Great read by O'Donoghue. So Eureka gets their 5th point of the set, and they do get the ball back. It'll be O'Donoghue to serve. Spinning the ball. Great serve there, kept in the air. Bergschneider in the middle, right. Out of bounds is the call. 15-6 in favor of the Fighting Scots.
And that was one of those trick plays that you sometimes see between the middle and the outside, where it's like the middle's going up.
And I'm not sure why, but the Fighting Scots seem to have the ball. I guess, I'm not sure about that, but Nagel outside, Flournoy. That one directly to Matson. In the air outside, right with a big hit off the hands. Diving is Shell. Nagel outside, Heckman kept in the air. Matson outside again, right. O'Donoghue able to keep it up. Shell with a floater over the head of Matson, but kept in play. Shell to Nagel, the company with the floater, unable to get that to fall. Back set there, kept in play. Nagel to Shell. Shell hits it over. Robinson, Matson. And that one is hit by Strachan, and it does fall. So after a very long sequence of back and forth, it'll be Monmouth who gets the point. 16-6 the score here in the 4th set. Matson with the serve. Heckman able to keep it up. Nagel outside. Shell's going to be the one to take it. Robinson in the air. Matson outside. Sealis off the hands of O'Donoghue. Out of bounds. So it is now 17-6. Eureka trailing.
And for those of you curious, Sealis now has 24 kills in this game alone, which is absolutely insane. And Company hits it, but it goes out of bounds.
And unfortunately, Monmouth starting to pull away. The score is now 18-6. So this seems to be one of those low-scoring games for the Red Devils, as Heckman in the air outside. Company is able to execute that one, and that is a Red Devils point. 19-7. I believe they're currently not updating the scoreboard, but that should be a 7. But for now, it'll be Claire Schaffner taking over at the service line. Great serve there, kept in the air. Matson outside. That one is off the hands of Company, I believe. Maybe Nagel, but it is a Monmouth point, 20-6. And that one directly into the net. So that is a Red Devils point. Slowly but surely starting to make their way back into this game. And it'll be Lexi Lira-Mattis, who had that great sequence of serves earlier, back to serve. Matson in the middle with a floater. Lira-Mattis keeps it up outside. Shell with a big hit, kept in the air by Robinson. Matson outside again. Sealis unable to execute. Another Red Devils point.
And what a block there by Company. I mean, we've seen her. She's been playing great all night, despite last night where everyone kind of had a rough game. She's come back and she's made the most of this game.
That's right. Company with a big hit, and she is surprisingly blocked. So it is now 21-8 in favor of the Fighting Scots, as they are really starting to heat up late here in this 4th set. Taking over to serve, Robinson. O'Donoghue keeps it up. Schaffner in the middle. The Company once again blocked, but she's able to keep it up. Outside, Nagel. That is tipped by Sealis. Matson outside. Sealis again with a hit. Diving is Lira-Mattis, unable to get that up. 22-8 is the score in favor of Monmouth. Robinson back at it again. Lear Mattis able to keep it up. Schaffner back sets the company too strong. And at this point, the Red Devils fighting for whatever life they have left. Robinson once again, a little floater. Lear Mattis keeps it up. This one's going to go to Shell. Kept in the air by Strachan. To the middle, Teunis. And that is off of Shell and past the diving Lear Mattis. And Monmouth finds themselves 1 point away from not only winning this fourth set, but also winning this game overall. Robinson once again with the floater. Lear Mattis digs it out. Schaffner backsets company with a big hit, and that'll be inbounds. Eureka adds another point, 24-9. So it'll be Alyssa Company to serve back in her routine. Ball in the air. Kept up. This one outside. Sealis with a big hit. And Lear Mattis off of the ceiling. But it does fall back onto the floor. So the final in set number 4, 25-9. Monmouth does end up taking this one. Both teams, per usual, high-fiving at the net, showing great sportsmanship. And you got to admit, despite a loss, the Red Devils do always make it very exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was about to say that despite that loss, it was still a very exciting game to watch, especially those first 3 sets where it was so close for a majority of it, and the Red Devils did hold that lead.
Yeah, and we mentioned this earlier too. One thing that the Red Devils can consider as a win is the fact that in the first 3 sets, they were the very first team out of the 2 to get a point on that scoreboard. And that's not something we've seen often from the Red Devils so far. I know it's still really early in the season, but it's the little wins that you really want to take note of, and that's exactly what the Red Devils have done.
You just saw some kind of disagreement there on the court between the 2 coaches. I mean, the Monmouth head coach literally just put his hand in Bogart's face and walked away. So,
yeah,
not sure what just happened there, but
it shows exactly what kind of team they are. I mean, they came in here screwing around, and, sure, they might be good, but not for the right reasons. And that is not something you want to brag about. That is a very disgusting team.
Yeah.
Very disgusting.
And not
team.
only that, I mean, it's not like they did in the last set. They beat us by a decent amount, but it was close the entire time. And I believe in a few minutes we're going to send it down to the floor to talk to Coach Bogart.
That's right. But that is a team full of attention seekers right there.
Yeah.
That is not what you want to see.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I would not want to be known as that team. Personally me, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, that's just disappointing.
And here we are.
But for now, we send it down to Coach Bogart for the post-game interview. So my first question for you is, what do you think went well for this team tonight, and what do you think could have been improved on?
I think obviously going well, that would probably have to be my hitters. My middles hit well tonight. It looks like, let's see, Hallie hit 348. Alyssa had, she hit 286. Different attempts. Hallie had 23 attempts on 10 kills. Alyssa had 28 attempts on 13 kills. To be able to improve, we've got to pass the ball a little bit better.
Yep. My next question, how do you come back against Fontbonne? Obviously coming off of a loss against them last time out, but you play them next time. So my question is, how do you come back against them?
Coming back against Fontbonne, all we got to do is pass the ball.
Yep, that's right.
They have one hitter, and that's it, right? So passing the ball well on Saturday, and then we come home with a win.
Yep. How would you describe team chemistry?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
How would you describe the team chemistry?
Our team chemistry is good when we pass the ball. That's been my biggest focus right now. You've got to pass the ball, okay? When our ball passing is great, our team chemistry is 100%. And as soon as that happens, it's game over for everybody.
My last question, would you mind telling us what happened with the other coach down on the floor?
When Chelsea went down, I obviously could see that, their coach and their bench was, kind of like smiling and laughing. And so the biggest thing is that he just said, they weren't laughing, and I, pretty much said, well, this is what I see. So it is what it is at this point. He tried to say his piece. I said my piece, and he walked away and didn't want to hear what else I said. So it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that'll wrap things up here tonight.
Thanks.
The next game that the Red Devils will play, September 28th against Fontbonne, 12 p.m. will be the start time. But on behalf of my crew, thank you for watching. I'm Matthew Swan.
And I'm Ella Walker.
This was Eureka Red Devils Volleyball on ECTV.